We'll go to the next speaker now. Yeah. You stop sharing, sir.
Yeah, I will stop sharing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much,
Yes.
sir.
Yes.
Now I request Dr. Latha Devarajan. Yeah, another research scholar with us. We would like to listen from her. Madam, you just unmute.
Sir, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Sir, am I looking correctly at the right place? I'm so sorry on this. Is that okay, sir?
Yeah, you're ready.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. So thank you. First, I need to thank KQHDA for always supporting us and always giving encouragement to all of us. Right from the time that we started our practice and came new to this place, to allowing us to grow and giving us so much of positive strokes that we really feel so happy about it. And the nice feeling that today I can also take a few members who have been working with me to talk, and grateful for Patel sir, Swami sir, Hegde sir, for all the opportunities that you create. It's not at all easy to conduct these Zoom webinars and ensure people attend and participate. It's a great service to the system and to people like us. Thank you so much, sir. So we go ahead with the topic and see the thing that I have learned over a period of time. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah. Continue, madam.
Yeah. So there was a process that happened in the last 8 to 9 months and in the period of last 2 years when I was trying to understand this hyperactivity and ADHD. So what happened was while we were working on the ADHD as a project as a disorder, what alarmed us also was that we were also seeing hyperactivity coming in COVID times, which was little bit out of the normal because we never experienced it as a disorder, but as a symptom. I want to share clinical cases and I want to share with you the tools that we used to diagnose this condition, whether it is a symptom or a state or a disorder. So if at the end of this half an hour to 40 minutes, if I can, share with you the tools and the processes that you all can carry home to your clinical experience, then I think we would have served our objective. So that is the objective of today's presentation. And we will go from the case and then build the processes. So starting with our first case. This is a child who is otherwise active, never had problems with functioning in the school, bedwetting till 7 years, fearful of, but suddenly in the lockdown, the child has stopped studying, becoming very abusive and angry, plays and creates video games at his age, which the peers feel at 10 years to create a video game is not easy. And then, is there some problem? Hello? Sir, any problem?
No problem.
Continue. We can hear you.
And what was happening was he was continuously playing video games in the class. He knew how to escape from the teachers. The teachers were busy with 30, 35 students. So they really couldn't track what was happening. And he was very happy with his video games and not listen to the teacher. So I want some chat responses and I want Tripti to follow those chat responses and talk on their behalf to me because I'm able to open the chat boxes. So I to know what is happening now to this child. And how many of us have experienced this phenomena in the last 8 months? Is this common that we are experiencing children in lockdowns, staying at home, not being able to play outside, and into an entirely new online platform? So much of pent up energies. Mother is busy at work, father is busy, and this is what is exploding. So what are they saying? What do you think is happening? What are they answering, Tripti?
Not yet, ma'am. Nobody has started writing.
Nobody. All right. So let's go ahead and let's explore. So one of the things that you require to understand whether hyperactivity should be put as a symptom or a disorder is to understand the phenomena prior to the onset of the symptom. So prior to the onset of the symptom, he was the second of the sibling. And he was breastfed. He was always precautious. And till lockdown, he was able to do well and go outside to play. A normal child, nothing except that he was a little bit on the active side and loved playing sports. What happens post lockdown? Refuses to sit in online classes, misses his friends, continuously plays video games, locks the games, and it becomes very abusive if parents are able to take it out from his hand or they lock the internet. He will again start screaming, yelling till they put it back. And the teachers could not impact him much, and parents tried their support, but they could not do much about it. Now let us use a tool to understand whether this is a disorder, a state, or a symptom. So this is one of the exercises that we have followed and fairly got good results in understanding this. These are the headings on which we assess. This form is going to be repeated in all the cases, so don't worry, just listen. And it's available in the net. Do not take any notes, just listen to the experience. He's making mistakes. He's performed fairly. He's got around 75 to 80 marks in the first assessment on video online. Unable to sit in the class, running around, does not run around. Submits his homework. I think he probably goes back and reads, the parents don't know. He's not having problem in engaging with leisure activity. If permitted to play video games, he will continue to listen to the teacher as well as pay attention to the video games. He's not losing things, taking care of himself. He's not answering impulsively when asked. He's not getting distracted on external stimuli. He has difficulty in waiting for his turn. The teachers are not aware about it. He's doing his daily activities. Now, who do you think is having the problem here? And where is the problem? Tripti, just see the chat boxes and let me know.
Yes,
If he
ma'am.
makes it active, all of you will be awake for the next half an hour to 40 minutes. Any responses, Tripti?
And one Dr. Rekha has written hyperactivity is a condition but can become disorder. And Dr. Jayashree has written energy usually given out outside as play is now stopped.
Yes, absolutely. So the problem was not with the, a continuous state of hyperactivity can become a disorder. But look at this state of functioning here. It's not affecting his daily routine. It's not affecting his school performance. What is happening is the parents' irritation and anger with his preoccupation with the video games and his otherwise calm and quiet nature becoming extremely irritable and angry to the point of aggression is what is disturbing the parents. This is a cause that has been triggered by the environment, along with certain stresses that have come from the family inputs and a medium that is new to the child. So hyperactivity is a symptom more perceived by the parents and precipitated by a sudden change in the environment. Unable to sit calmly, fidgeting, unable to concentrate, but does not affect his performance in school and his functioning at home. Is this clear? Is everybody clear on this? And with me, Tripti, any doubts they can ask?
Ma'am, Dr. Shreepriya has written in children already being hyperactive children are more involved on their mobile due to their daily need of exposure. Aggression has come due to lockdown. And
Absolutely correct.
Dr. Wahi has written it is the parents who have to be counseled along with the treatment of the child.
Right, absolutely right. So I think we all are on the same page. So there is going to be less stress in the case. So the totality is irritability, difficult concentration. Right now, we only take the symptoms that are available to us because every child is different. We had children sitting on the chair, it was in a very difficult position. Everybody's behavior patterns are different. So we will take the symptoms that this child talks. Fear of dark, fear of being alone, quarrelsome, craving sweets, lean and tall. Any inputs on the remedies? Tripti, do they want to suggest something? The child had a history of bedwetting till 7 years, still sleeps with the mother, has fear of dark and being alone, and now he has come down with a very aggressive behavior when his pet toy, the video game, has taken over. Any inputs, Tripti, on the medicines?
Calcarea iode, lycopodium.
Yes, wonderful. So I think it was a pretty
Ammonium.
yes. So because the fears were not very excessive and it was something that is a very constant ongoing state. It was not an acute fear of stramonium where we had a child who just, started praying and started, getting into this religious manias as well as violence. It's not that state of stramonium. It's a simple calcarea evolving and we gave calcarea iode based on his aggression. We used it sparingly. What was required was the changes in the object of his channelization. He was asked to be tutored because his peers felt that he had an unusual capacity to create games and a very different ability to work around that medium of platform, which required a certain degree of mentoring and channelization. And the child was encouraged sports, as Dr. Jayashree mentioned, with his peers who was safe and COVID free. Is this correct? Is this okay? Shall we go ahead?
Yes, ma'am.
So the science of experience is what Hahnemann calls us, but we also know it is also known when we get the right totality and the knowledge of the disease with a judicious employment. That is what we call medicine in our terminology. Next case is a very different case. This is also during one of our COVID times, very difficult case. This is a child who has come to you on 29th of December. The first onset of symptom is on November. A female who is around, she must be now 8 or 9 years, studying at Salem. Mother has expired on 9th September while delivering the second sister. The second sister is just 2 months old. Presently, she's staying in her auntie's house who's trying to help this baby and this child and her in-laws and trying to manage the whole setup. And what we find is, this is what there were 2 episodes on November 11th and December 2nd. She went to sleep and suddenly the father noticed that one eyeball is stuck. Child was unconscious, not responding. She was admitted for all neurological investigations, but as the EEG reports were not conclusive, they could not start her on antiepileptics. The father took the option of waiting to see how many more such episodes are coming. Along with this, the child has become very hyperactive, continuously talking, is waking up at night and suddenly laughing, not focusing in the school, not concentrating, not able to do her daily activity. And she has decided not to go to school and she's going to stay at home. So what do you think is this particular area that we are addressing now? I want you all to put it in the chat box. What is happening? Yes, Tripti, if you get a few responses, you can tell me.
Dr. Amita has written grief.
Right. What else is happening? How do you understand the hyperactivity? Is anybody finding it hard understanding of the hyperactivity? So the difficulty that you come across in this case is there is an acute grief reaction after the mother's death, but there is also a mental symptoms that are developing, which is hyperactive, not focusing, not concentrating, and not able to do her daily activity. So what is the other process that we will use to understand this particular state? Let us go back to our form. You find attention sustaining difficult is very often, Restlessness and fidgety is very often. Cannot sit in one place often. She's not running around. She's just restless and fidgety, and she's excessively talking, not following instructions, answers impulsively, interrupts others often, and does not wait for her turn to talk. Is this clear about what has happened?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, this is what is important here to understand is the duration of this illness. A disorder cannot be diagnosed until we have minimum 3 months of symptoms. Right now, we are in the second month. Child is refusing to go to school. The child has all the symptoms of hyperactivity, but is also in a state of grief. Is this clear to all of us? The time duration. The time duration makes it very important for diagnosis. In the first case, what was important was whether the child is able to function on her own, function to age appropriate exams that are conducted by the school, then it is just a symptom for us in the homeopathic understanding. But here you find it has gone a little beyond that to a state that is continuously happening. But at the same time, it is secondary to a cause and it is deeply affecting her functioning at school and at home. So we have to be cautious here. This is not just a symptom. This is something that has gone deeper. And we will have to keep the caution of an ADHD only after we complete the time period of 3 months. Is that clear, Tripti, to everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Of hyperactivity, attention deficit in this case is secondary to an acute grief reaction. And most important, keep in mind, it is affecting a functioning at school and home. Now, what do we do for us as a homeopathic physician? We will evolve this case. Is this something that has happened after an event, or is this an ongoing constitution that is breaking down under grief? Very interesting symptoms you have. Let us understand what is happening. So, father's second marriage, this is, the reasons were not clear to us why he left the first wife. There wasn't any time to understand the case in that depth. We know this mother was working very hard till her 9th month of pregnancy, taking tuitions because the father was not very good at his work in terms of his money. The child is independent, like choosing her dresses, irritable, talkative, leadership, and would listen only to the mother. So this was her state prior to the mother's death. When mother took very ill, there was a sudden denial. She always kept telling that the mother is going to come back. She started crying a few hours when they showed her the mother's photo and said she can no longer be back. It was like she forgot about it and then she came back and started playing with sister. However, after that started the episodes of sudden laughing, stopped eating, started removing her clothes, jumping, and especially before sleep, and 2 episodes of unconscious. I would like you to, and there was also another episode where if you tell her no, she's going to start biting you with anger. Is this clear? Is everybody clear on this? Then we find, now let us understand, this is a tool that I'm sure I have explained it many times. There is a central evolution of this child disposition, sensitive, attached, independent, always very talkative and intelligent. And there is a state that is evolving now, which is very hyperactive and under grief. Do we want to address this portion first, the right side, and then come back to deeper layer? Or do you think we are going to choose a remedy that actually might be the constitution, which is deeper than what we actually know about it? So what are the remedies that are coming up and what is your totality? Tripti, quickly ask them.
Waiting for them to answer, ma'am.
Yeah, so I want you all to understand the state. It's very clear. And what are the remedies that are coming in your mind and how you would like to put up here.
Ma'am, hyoscyamus, Dr. Deepa Amar.
Right. Yes, any other remedies?
Ignatia, stramonium.
Yes, Ignatia, stramonium. These are the remedies that we will normally use for this kind of a state. All right, let's use the help of our repertory. These were the rubrics that we used. Very interesting because this was not something that we normally come across. A very foolish and lewd behavior, undresses herself, anger, rage bites in, and these were the remedies. Now, how do we differentiate hyoscyamus from belladonna, veratrum and stramonium? These are very interesting remedies for excessive reactions and fear, fright, anxieties, and some amount of grief reaction. So under belladonna, very interestingly, belladonna, when I was not very sure of this belladonna as a remedy until I heard some of the lectures on belladonna. And belladonna has a laughing face and can get into an exact opposite state of violence. So you might find it very sweet, very humorous and laughing. And it is only 1 or 2 episodes of anxiety, excitability and anger. What I had thought was all the time belladonna is going to be in a very angry state. No. Actually, belladonnas are very, very sweet, kind, friendly, loving, and laughing all the time at, sometimes very inappropriately, like a writer. And they come down with episodes, not a continuous states of irritation and violence. Veratrum will land up with a state of mistrust, will not respect, and you can feel that language that he talks to you of a certain state of mistrust in his parents, mistrust in the environment, lying, trying to boast of. That is Veratrum. And stramonium will come down with a state of acute mania where the child will become very violent, hitting, very fearful at the same time, and in the fear, he may even start as jealousy, state of violence, and the anxiety can go to the level of it's coming internet unstable. You're okay with it, right, Tripti?
Yes, ma'am. Now it's clear.
Yeah. So you understood the remedies. These were the main remedies that we took up. And opium, of course, is something that is very dull, drowsy, non-reactive after grief. All right, and I will learn from you all. So let's look at hyoscyamus picture a little more deeply in Allen's and Herring's findings. Uninterrupted delirium, excitation. All of you can go back and refer. Becomes excited, incoherent in speech, foolish, insanity, mania, delirium with physical restlessness, cannot stay in bed. These are some of the symptoms. It was actually proved by Hahnemann and his brewers, almost similar to this state. So you can find that lack of memory, concentration, all a part of a hyperactivity, but a state that is evolving secondary to a grief reaction. So a mental state will, each individual reacts to his or her environment in a manner which is defined by his or her attributes. It results in an expressions of signs and symptoms. And you will find the symptoms at the level of emotions here. There were not so much of emotions. There were symptoms of intellect, that is concentration affected, and more were the behavior patterns. That is where remedies like stramonium, hyoscyamus, belladonna, you find a lot of symptoms coming more in their behavior patterns, which will guide you to the ADHD group of drugs, not like those chronic calcarioids or tuberculosis. Is that clear? So I would like Dr. Muthulakshmi to come in and share because we had a very difficult time. Dr. Muthulakshmi was with me in this case, and there was always this constant fear, is this going to get into a state of epilepsy? Are we going to have a more pathological disorder? Are we going to set right? Because counseling is not possible in this child. She's just not listening to anybody. Always had a doubt, will our remedy work? How will it work? How long will we take to get her right? Like Muthulakshmi to share?
Yes, yes,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
you have to stop screen sharing, then she can share if she has to share her screen.
I have to stop the screen share.
Yeah, in case she has to do a screen share.
Yeah, Muthulakshmi, can you come
Yes,
in, ma'am?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you can
Good
talk.
evening to
Muthulakshmi.
everyone.
Yes,
Uh,
Dr.
uh,
You can
yes,
share the screen.
Yeah, she's talking. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
okay. Hello, can you hear?
Yeah, it is
Hello.
audible. Continue.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks. Good evening to everyone. I'm an observer in this case. The child came to us for a treatment of acute grief reaction with hyperactivity after a traumatic loss of her mother at very young age. Uh, there was always a fear for us to how she will become all right and will become she need for counseling, and will she enter into some deeper diseases like epilepsy due to her unconscious episodes, even though her EEG is normal. Then we started our treatment with Hyascymus, but she responded very quickly. Within a week, her laughing spells and hyperactivity and sleeplessness and talkativeness came down very quickly within a week. Then she can cope up with her routines, as well as she was able to go to her school back, and she can do her routine herself very good. And it is a great learning for me as a learner with Dr. Latha ma'am. And thanks for the opportunity for me to
No,
share
actually,
with
she
all
was
of
also a
you.
part of the team that worked. She's more of my colleague, and she did the repertorizations also with me. And we read through all the books. And so, Muthulakshmi, you're part of my team. And
Good,
we,
good, good. Okay.
right? So now
Yeah.
we go to the second case.
Ma'am, you'll have to again start screen sharing.
We go to a proper disorder, all right?
Yes, ma'am.
So what we are facing are symptoms and a state, and we use the tool to understand the intensity of the symptom and the duration of the illness. Now let's understand what happens if we have a proper ADHD. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder is a behavioral condition that makes focusing on everyday requests and routines challenging. So very complete definition on its own. So just pay attention to the words focusing on everyday requests and routines challenging. There is trouble in getting organized, staying focused, and making types that are commonly encountered are the inattentive type, and most of the inattentive types are going to be found in your workspace. So you will find children who are having difficulties in paying attention, completing homework, focusing, concentration, but they may not be so excessively hyperactive, impulsive, doing things. The physical activity is much less in an inattentive type than a hyperactive, impulsive type, which will keep going around. It is very difficult. I will show you the child's video. And it can be a combination of not being able to pay attention, focusing, concentration, as well as being extremely hyperactive. I think many of you might be using this in your practice, but let's just revise it through the cases. The next, Anji. Going down. One of the areas that we are focusing on children is because they are the most susceptible to these disorders. And this is a genetically processed disorder, which is something to do with our nervous connections from the central nervous system to our periphery and the way in which the five senses are operating and how we are able to understanding learning as a phenomenon. So one of the areas where we found it was easy for us to understand ADHD was in the school environment, because either parents will tell you they are all the time playing, not studying, or they will tell you that the parents have a certain degree of subjectivity in their complaints to hyperactivity. But when we go to the school area, learning difficulty is one of the areas where ADHD is very easily picked up. Learning difficulty is described as an issue with the brain's inability to process information, because it's a complex phenomena where there is a lot of areas that are put into testing, starting from your hearing to your memory, which is seen in your way you spell, maths, read, comprehend, perceive. However, what is important to notice, the cases that I am presenting, the IQ is not affected. The IQ is still in a good range of 90 plus, and the child is not having slow learner issues. So we are focusing on those cases where the IQ is normal 90 plus, and yet the child is not able to perform because of either an inattentive ADHD or a hyperactive. And now what I will share with is, it is important for you to assess from the teacher the reading, the writing area, the comprehension and the maths, the behavior at home, society and school, the emotions of this child, and the intellectual areas which are achieved at concentration and perception mainly, and memory for a child. Why I keep saying child? It is definitely possible to bring about neuroplasticity changes in the age group of 3rd standard to 7th standard with our remedies. And it is definitely possible that ADHD can be channelized, and at least to a point of functional status where the child will be able to clear his exams as well as take care of himself. So that is what we are focusing on. So let us take case 3. Why I'm sharing the learning area, I'll also share you the other areas. The child was making continuous mistakes in reading and writing, not able to comprehend, can do only single digit maths, like 4 plus 4 or 3 plus 3, or maximum can go to 4 plus 4, can copy from the board, but he will make lot of omissions because he is not able to concentrate. Loses attention quickly, will not complete the passage, run away from the passage. In 3 minutes, he will run away. He's not a hyperactive type, but because he's not able to focus, he doesn't want to sit over there. So he'll quietly go off, he'll pretend something and go and sit off in the class. And he will not remember errands. This child especially will not remember errands and forget easily. Likes to play with friends than doing homework. And this child, this is a girl child, the IQ was 95. Now let us put this child through an inattentive hyperactive form. The inattentive hyperactive form focus on mistakes that are being made. I will show you a sample of this paper writing. Focuses on tasks which are difficult, like if the mother says go to the shop and bring something, by the time it reaches the shop, it will forget what has been told. It will not listen more because it doesn't remember. Its mind doesn't pay attention to what you're saying, cannot take instructions easily, cannot organize her own work, very easily gets distracted, even for her daily activities. Like today, she may take a bath and then she might forget that tomorrow she says, okay, I finished my bath, and actually she may not have taken a bath. And she's often restless, but she's not impulsive. She can sit in one place. She can sit there for a few minutes. And then after some time, she's not able to do that activity and silently moves out of that. She'll go on attempting to write, and there will be so many mistakes in that writing. She will omit letters. She will not be able to focus. And let's see this child. What happens to this child of an LD with this type of an inattentive ADHD? But mind you, the IQ is normal, so it's not a slow learner we are dealing with. The child is a 9 years old, studying in grade 5. So you need to let me know the time. I have 10 minutes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are two younger brothers. The father is married, and then the child gets cold and cough easily. He's a hot patient, sweating profusely. Look at the state in the school. Always in a mood to fight, very irritable with sister, does not like to be told anything. If aversion to work at home, it's always the sister who does anything. Stubborn in the class, if the child tells her to, if the teacher says collects the books, will not even listen to the teacher. Likes to travel and cycle, very shy with strangers, has one good friend who helps her in completing the work, does not like reprimands by teachers or parents, likes coming to school, does not miss, but she shouldn't be scolded too much. And this school does not scold also, luckily. She won't take on responsibilities, likes dancing in a group, but takes a lot of time to pick up. What are the remedies that are coming up? Tripti?
Yes, ma'am, checking. Not yet anybody has written.
Anyone is thinking? I think, you know what? A lot of us might.
Criteria of horse, Baraita carb.
Correct. So these were the remedies that even struck us when we were taking her case. Surprisingly, you will come to know when we repertorize the fears, the shyness, the stubbornness, the rudeness, and with the physicals, the remedy that came up was medorinum. What is the difference between medorinum and the calcarea? The medorinum has deep-seated fears and anxiety with a streak of stubbornness and rudeness, which a calcarea will not have. The calcarea can be molded. The medorinum can be really very stubborn to the point of not doing anything. Aversion to work comes from its egoistic state and a state with very poor memory and forgetfulness. What you all are telling about Baraita carb, right? I would like you to explore medorinum in depth because that's a remedy that has worked wonders in ADHD compared to a Baraita, which seems to have got better responses in slow learners. So I want you to go back and read this remedy. All right. So we were giving her 200 once a week. Look at this page when we started the treatment. Look at the intensity of the errors and the hodgepodge handwriting. Is this clear, Tripti? Ask them. Is this clear, Tripti, to them?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so now look at what happens to her after treatment. Absolutely no errors. Look at that child sitting and writing over there. That is the child we are talking about. This child became a leader for the rest. Look at her handwriting. Dr. Anjum will share with you this case and the other case results. This was Dr. Anjum's case, and you can see there is absolutely no mistake, and the clarity in the handwriting improved. This was our first response case in 3 months of medorinum, 200 weekly 1 dose. Now we go to the second case. And for this case, I want you to just see this video, and I want you to pick up the characteristics of the video as the child is talking to you in this video. All right. Carefully observe this child and see what he's trying to do. जिससे नजर भर के दुश्मन के मशहूर मेरा दिखो तेरे में तक की रात जिसने बनू दिल का चेहरे पे मशहूर मेरा दिखो want responses in this?
Ma'am, Dr. Mamta is asking, was any other remedy given for this child other than medorinum?
Nothing was given. Only medorinum 200 as a constitution, weekly 1 dose. Nothing Tripti, only medorinum 200 single dose.
Okay, ma'am.
All right. Stop. Next. And let us quickly run through the form. It's very impulsive. What are the symptoms that people are picking up, Tripti? Quickly ask them. This is the form for hyperactivity. The fidgetiness, the attention cannot. Did you see the other children sitting quietly while this one was running all around?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you hear him singing? And we couldn't pick it up, but there was a small boy. For no reason at all, he will hit him and pinch him. He will go there outside, hit him, and come back. And he will squeeze that child by the neck and bring him back into the class. So, and then by the time he finishes one line, he will go out and drink water and come. Can you see the activity of this child? What are the remedies they are looking at? Pay attention carefully to his symptoms. Yes, Tripti, any responses?
Tarantula.
Yes, because, and this is what happened when we started. Tuberculinum and tarantula, the two remedies that come very close to this child. I'll help you to differentiate. Wait. Can you see this handwriting? Can you see this is what he was singing and writing? Very unusual. Nobody sang in that class except him. And he will sing and write. And then this much errors were there. And look at what happens after. This was the totality. I think tarantula and tuberculinum came close because what was striking in tarantula was the intense sensitivity to the music. You know, the cunningness of this child, how cunningly he will manipulate us and run outside. He will smile at us, tell something, and he's gone. And then we had to literally take the video to follow on what he's doing, and then he's going and hitting this child. And he's only doing some actions of hitting the child, telling lies to us, and singing. This is not an aimless wandering of a tuberculinum. Tuberculinum, you would not even be able to take the video and chase it. You don't even know next minute where the tuberculinum has disappeared. Because we've had children who just ran off to the terrace because they don't even want us to follow them. That quick they are. It's an aimless wandering without deceit and without this extreme sensitivity to music and a violent anger. The anger of tuberculinum is breaking things. Here he will go and pinch all the children who are under him. This. And look what happens after treatment. There's absolutely no mistakes. And I will request, we have given him 200 weekly dose. And this was after 6 months of assessment that this is what was the response that we got. Medorinum responded in 3 months. This took about 4 to 5 months. Now I'll request, Anjum, Dr. Anjum, can you come and share, please?
You should quit me.
Anjum, you can share from wherever you are. Come.
Yes.
Dr. Anjum?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Hello,
Cannot see
everybody.
you. Video.
Yeah. I'm not able to.
Yeah, Anjum, you can.
Yeah.
Dr. Anjum,
Yeah.
you can start.
Yes. Our first case, hyperactive attention deficit, was our fastest recovery from so many errors in reading, writing to mistakes in maths. She responded in 3 months and was a leader for us to help the other kids also. And she also started taking instructions from us and she was very helpful. And our second case, the boy which ma'am just shared, was a difficult one too. He was very angry, irritable, and very manipulative, and never wanted to do any assignments with us. With medication alone, his impulsive ADHD has settled, and as you can see in his writing samples, he has started to sit in one place and write. Thank you so much, ma'am, for this great learning experience. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Thank
thank
you very
you,
much.
team. It was a great teamwork at work because it was extremely, you can hear the amount of sounds that are going on in that school. Needed a lot of internal silence to deal with these kids patiently and with a lot of love and care. And where are we going to share screen? So I have only 2 slides and I'm done with. So I
Yeah.
just want to
Thank
conclude. So we learned the tools that we can use to identify hyperactivity. We had case studies with the improvements, learning areas, a good potential area for us to do and understand the scope of our science to bring about with proper diagnostic tools and follow-up tools and with an integrated team. I'm sure you can help in the neuroplasticity to happen in the age group of 8 to 13. Next, Anjali, last slide. Mr. Last. Yes. 2 minutes. So I want to thank my sirs who have always encouraged me at KQHDA, Patel sir, Hegde sir, Swami sir, and all the other colleagues who have been my friends over a period of time, and to my team at MLD MHI for all the efforts that they put into creating clinical excellence, to my EMR team, which is in specific Dr. Savita, Babita, Rohina, Anjum, and Nivedita, and I hope I haven't missed anybody. Anita
Yeah. Thank you. Maybe the whole
there.
team is there. The team.
And sir,
Yeah.
I have one more small team working with me in the clinic for recordings. That is Sadhvi, Mamta, Nivedita, Muthulakshmi, and Preeti, and Anju. So and Mamta, and these are the teams that work in the clinical excellence. I have a research team with Dr. Savita, Babita, and all the names that I
Yeah.
shared. So
Dr. Latha.
important to me. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And thank you, sirs. And thanks.
You can add our names also. We will also be there. So for a good cause, always we are there with you. See,
Yes,
whole
sir. Thank you so much, sir.
KQHDA is with you for any good cause. On behalf of KQHDA,
Absolutely, sir.
I will say
So
that you
right
can
now,
add our
sir,
names
we are
also.
planning to, we once we get the results of this, we will expand to all the government schools, and I'm sure
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
take.
No, that's a good idea. Certainly. That's why I said we are also with you. 100%. No doubt
Thank
in
you so much, sir. Sorry,
and
the last slide went in a
it
hurry.
will be a beginning for a new venture. Thank you very much for your
Thank you,
good
sir.
and very interesting and challenging presentation. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, sir.
Now I request, because there is a raining heavily, maybe somebody or many maybe facing some problem with the network and all. Now I request our beloved patron, Dr. B.D. Patel, sir, to give a concluding remarks. Sir, please.
Yeah, thank you, President, for remembering me in the last. At least you did not forget. And as you said rightly, it is very much a lot of disturbance in the
No,
network.
because of heavy
Anyhow,
raining, sir, heavy raining. Even
yes,
somebody
yes,
they
yes,
lost
yes.
the connections also.
Yeah. Well, friends, anyhow, the first speaker, Ajit Kulkarni, whom I know for last 27 years, and he was with us in many of the places. And when you listen to him, like a classical teacher, he has been talking on the aspects of how applying right homeopathy to right patient, the right time with right interpretation. Before I talk about Dr. Lataji, let me tell you both of these speakers, Dr. Ajit Kulkarni and Dr. Latha, have played a very important role in the success of 2017 International Conference. I think Dr. Hegdeji and Dr. Swami will agree with me. Dr. Swami was taking care of so many other things. Dr. Lataji was taking care of the speakers and arranging them, especially from outside speakers. We should really, I appreciate and I remember this lady working so much, morning till evening, at least for last 6 to 8 months, she was in touch with me. And the moment the conference was over, she forgot who is Dr. Patel. And only on invitation from the KQHDA, she comes and speaks. But anyhow, the talk by Dr. Latha was really those 4 or 5 cases were excellent. And I was feeling that I'm sitting in a classroom learning from Dr. Ajit ji and learning from Dr. Latha Devarajan. So Latha Devarajan is such a lady, such a doctor, such a wonderful person. Have you seen the way she speaks? Each word clearly, not swallowing anything, not vomiting anything. Everything is clear, and that is the quality of a very good teacher. She's like this, and she is blessed with a daughter. I remember, I must mention this, who doesn't like dance. Maybe she may like something else, but just the mother likes dancing. She learned dancing, and I had witnessed that. Wonderful performer, wonderful dancer, and the Dr. Latha is blessed with such daughter, and she should be feel proud of her, because this goes with the sanskar what you transfer. And Ajit ji, after a long time, we actually wanted to have a longer session of yours, but kya karenge yaar, COVID ne sabko maar diya hai. But anyhow, our Sripad Hegde sir is keeping the momentum of this webinars monthly, twice, sometimes 3 times, and we are still active. And really, I thank both the speakers for having. See, already we have reached 100. By mistake, I went out and I want to come in. He says, no, you can't come in. Already 100 participants are booked. I think Dr. Tripati removed somebody and put me here. Anyhow, thank you, Tripti, but it was a wonderful session, nice thing. And we expect more and more talks from Dr. Ajit Kulkarni, a man of experience, the man known as, forget about his cases, he's known as only the body language man. And the way amount of work he has done on body language, everyone appreciates. Dr. Latha, great work you are doing, great service. Be with us, whether you are a speaker or not. At least we would say once in a way, say hello to this Buddha man who is still alive. Thank you, Dr. Shripad Hegde.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. No, she has agreed already. I think Ajit Kulkarni also will be with us. We are widely enlarging our arms to the nation and national level. I hope you will please join us. And now I request for our President KQHDA Chairman, Dr. H.L. Swami, the past President, I request him to give a vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir. Sir, today's session, both the speakers are so wonderful. So, in spite of the nail-biting match, we left the match and we are listening this this match, homeopathic match. It's such a wonderful thing. And as we all know, Dr. Ajit Kulkarni since long time. I think he is associated with us for more than 25 years. So, but still, except for his hair, he still is so young. I just remember him, what I seen 25 years back and today. So with the same energy, same enthusiasm, and same skill oriented. So wonderful session, sir. Thank you very much. On behalf of KQHDA, I thank sir, and we wanted you to interact with us as much as possible. And I ask even our President, Dr. Sripad Hegde sir, to make one more exclusive session with Dr. Ajit Kulkarni sir. And when it comes to our next speaker, Dr. Latha Devaraj, so we know her since a very long time. I know her, even her first name also. From that time, we know her. We used to call her Dr. Mahalakshmi. Now she is Dr. Latha Devarajan. And I think with the KQHDA also, we have a very long journey. Since last more than 20-25 years, we are with this thing. And I cannot forget the amount of this thing, dedication and the work she done during our international conference. She was almost in charge of the
outside speakers
and the coordination. So it was wonderful, madam, wonderful. And what we really appreciate her, either in clinical or research or in this thing, is the meticulous work she does. Very meticulous, very detailed, and protocol. She just follows the protocol, the way. So the dedication. So,
sir, I want to say something, sir. I forgot. I need to mention that this project that we are working on is under the mentorship of Dr. Davle, Dr. Prashant, and Dr. Madhavi in Bombay, and Dr. Ramdas sir here. So I don't think, it's a one person who's doing it. So there's a lot of things going behind.
Yes, madam.
Just like KQHD works on a teamwork, and sir, I know Patel sir is so good at mentoring. I think it's wonderful. you so much.
Dr.
So,
Swami,
yeah.
Dr. Swami, if you remember, I think